Joined now by Matt Mitchell with Austin Energy. Matt, we know you have crews working really hard today, so thanks for spending a few minutes with us here on KVUE.
Good evening, Brian and Ashley. Good to be with you.
Yeah. You know, Matt, the outages we're seeing today don't come as a complete surprise. In fact, just yesterday, Governor Greg Abbott warned this could happen if ice accumulated on the power lines. Our own chief meteorologist, Hunter Williams, gave us that same warning. Your teams aren't really able, though, to pre-treat power lines in the same way that TxDOT crews pre-treat roads. But is there anything that you all have been able to do?
Well, absolutely. I mean, this was a situation that we have prepared for and trained for, not just in the last couple of days, but in the previous couple of months as well. It's something that we're trained to deal with, and at the same time, you never know exactly what that situation is going to be until Mother Nature presents it to you. And the amount of icing and ice accumulation that we've seen on vegetation around our power lines and on our power lines as well have continued to be substantial problems. The outage work has been ongoing for hours and hours now, and as restoration occurs, sometimes another issue will arise. For instance, if a tree is cleared from a line, the circuit is then re-energized, but then perhaps down the line another tree causes a lockout of that circuit. So these restorations are ongoing, and the work is continuing to occur, but we see these things continuing to pop up. It's a little like whack-a-mole as we continue to deal with these falling limbs.
All right, Matt, here's the million-dollar question everybody without power wants to ask you and your teams there. Any news you can share on timing when the power might be restored for Austinites?
Well, as was mentioned a little while ago, there are more favorable meteorological circumstances coming our way, so that is a positive. Austin Energy is always about restoring the largest outages first, impacting the most customers, and then the oldest to the newest. So if people have reported outages, we know about them. They do not necessarily need to hear back from us. We've got them. But in some cases, they won't see us in their immediate area because that outage is down in another area that may be farther away from their house. But this restoration effort will be going on for quite some time into the overnight and daybreak hours tomorrow. So we want to prepare our community for that eventuality because there are still quite a few customers that are waiting for their power to be restored.
You know, thinking about that, Matt, what about water treatment facility plants? Is the power to those, because I think people after 2021, they put power and water together. Is power, on and working at our water treatment facility plants?
That's a great point. And water treatment water treatment plants and our Austin Water in general are part of critical infrastructure. Those are always the first priority. We want to make sure that our hospitals, nursing homes, water treatment plants, critical infrastructure are the first high needs areas to be addressed. Then we triage from there. But as you can imagine, with roughly 1,000 outages having been reported in roughly the last 12 to 14 hours, that's a lot of triaging. But yes, we have every indication that our power generation, our water supply is completely safe. And now it's about making sure that our residences get their energy restored in a timely fashion as safely as possible.
All right, Matt, last question. A couple of years ago, we all went through the ice storm that caused a lot of trouble, similar to what we're seeing now. But from what you've told us today, this is more of a nature kind of wreaking havoc problem as opposed to an electric grid problem. Is that the way I understand?
That's absolutely accurate, Brian. You're absolutely right. In Winter Storm Uri was about a power generation and transmission and need. There was a lot of issues there with how we moved that around our grid and then having a lot of those facilities go offline. That is not the case here. This is very much a localized set of circumstances. It is where Central Texas and our beautiful foliage and tree canopies sometimes can cause real problems when you have an icing event like this. So this has nothing to do with the supply and demand or even a distribution issue. This is about line breaks and what happens when foliage and ice accumulation mix, and it's not pretty.
All right. That's Matt Mitchell from Austin Energy. Matt, we thank you for taking some time out to talk with us.
Thanks, Matt.